Hey, welcome back everybody. About 18 months ago, I did a video on designer fragrances marketed to women that I liked, that I briefly tested in store. This is basically just me sampling stuff in department stores, and I've limited it to mainstream designer releases, and it's very, very limited testing, mainly off strips, and I'm basically going to talk about the ones I quite like the smell of that I hadn't tried before. And I just want to point out, it's not necessarily fragrances that I would like to wear myself, but I wouldn't mind smelling these on somebody else. And I wanted to, there's been a couple of requests for this type of video again, given that it's been a while since my last one, and there's obviously new releases and stuff that I didn't test last time. So I've chosen 5 because when I did my trip to the department store and smelled stuff, and I went to the women's fragrance shelves, I have to say it felt like I was drowning in a shallow pool of sugar dusted fruit juice. Most of the things I smelled was really sweet and fruity, and kind of felt like, maybe I'm acting too old or I'm showing my age, but kind of felt like it's been designed for teenage girls. And I kind of wondered about that, because there obviously would be some thought behind the marketing and design of these things, but I wouldn't have thought they're the ones with the cash to splash on these fragrances. But anyway, it's just my taste. I've chosen 5 that I sniffed and I quite liked the smell of, and I'll work my way up to my favorite, I think, and I'll do this in order. So at number 5 is the new Illusione for Her by Bottega Veneta. I sniffed the men's version a few months ago, and I didn't like it compared to how much I like the rest of the Bottega Veneta men's line. This new Illusione was a bit too, it just felt like a bit too mainstream. But the women's one I quite like to smell, and again, it's not necessarily something I wear, but that I wouldn't mind smelling on somebody else. So I think the main accords of the Illusione for Her are fig leaf, which I quite like, with some citrus and bergamot and neroli, I think. So it's kind of a bright, slightly green scent, but I thought it was more interesting than the men's version. Next up is Gucci Bloom Fiore di Ambrosia. This is the red bottle. This one I liked quite a bit, particularly more than the other Gucci Blooms and the flankers. And from memory, this one was a tuberose and rose accord, and yeah, it was very interesting, and quite, for me, I felt it was a lovely feminine perfume that would be nice to smell on someone else as well. This one probably felt probably a bit more mature and sophisticated than the Bottega Veneta fragrance as well, which is why I kind of ranked it above that. The next one, last time I did this video, I chose as one of my favorites Ralph Lauren Woman. They've now released a Ralph Lauren Woman flanker, which is just called Ralph Lauren Woman Intense. And this one is a tuberose and vanilla, again, with the tuberose. And I actually think this is nicer than the original. So it doesn't really get talked about that much, the original, and this one must be reasonably new, but again, this one was very nice. But my 2 favorites, and I may have mentioned this this one before, at least on Instagram perhaps. My second favorite is Narciso, from Narciso Rodriguez. This is the white bottle eau de parfum. I think this is mainly white musks, and probably my favorite white floral, which is gardenia. I'm trying to grow some gardenia in a pot at home, and I just love this smell in the summer. The one that I liked the most from my testing, though, was from Chanel, and I had never smelled this one before. It's been out for a while now, and this one was Coco Noir from Chanel. It's basically patchouli rose with some other accords as well, but what I liked was the rose wasn't so dominant as you can get in some patchouli rose combinations. I liked that the patch was more dominant here, and this one of the five I've mentioned, I probably would wear myself, but it was a lovely, sophisticated scent from, as you probably would expect from Chanel. I kind of suspect that if I do enough testing of Chanel, I probably end up liking a lot more of the ones that are marketed to women as opposed to the ones marketed to men. Anyway, that's my little rundown. This was a very small sample, but I have to say it was not that easy to find these five in a sea of mediocrity that is a department store fragrance counter. So I hope if you've tried any of these ones that I've mentioned, let me know. Otherwise, give them a go and tell me what you think. They're reasonably basic compared to a lot of indie niche stuff, but I think they're pretty good quality, and they probably wouldn't be that expensive. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.